What's going on, guys? I'm Ned from Ned's Tech Bits. Don't worry, ma'am. I am from the internet. I want to talk a little bit about, okay, so it's Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving and holidays can be really rough for some people. While it's excellent and busy and beautiful for some people, for other people it's just the worst thing. It's the most depressing thing. And I used to have a big family. This used to be the place that would come by for Thanksgiving. And man, we do a lot of awesome things. We do a lot of really fun things. So I'm doing a lot of thinking back about how life used to be, and the internet has really changed. It's really changed, and as I'm talking with my friends about better days and whatnot, I got a buddy that sent me a video, an interesting video about unsolved mysteries. Unsolved mysteries is always a fun thing that me and my friends, or me and my family did. We got together, we watched. The kids would watch some TV, and usually spooky stuff is what we were into. Halloween coming and whatnot. Anyways, we today my buddy sent me something about the Chris Benoit story, and one of the unfortunate things that happened during all of this was that the shading went down. Was that there was somebody who posted on Wikipedia saying something had happened to his wife before anybody knew what was happening, and that started an unsolved mystery that really went nowhere. It was just a troll. But when they were talking about how things were in 2007, it made me really appreciate the time that was back then and the technology that was back then. Of course, technology and everything changes really quickly, but technology changed in a way that really affected me deeply and personally. Unfortunately, something called an algorithm would come out, and it would devour us, and it devoured my family. The algorithms are easy to get addicted to. Algorithms are like a drug. The internet is like a drug. And way back in the day, even when broadband was still new, it was harder to get addicted to the internet the way we are now. These days, with broadband and fast speeds, unbelievably crazy, we get TikTok feeding us video without any buffer time. There is no buffer time on TikTok these days. The algorithm gets onto us, it gets into us, and because of it, post COVID, everybody knows about narcissistic personality disorder. Everyone has a narcissistic friend. Everyone has ADHD. Everybody is trauma informed, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying all of these things are bad. I'm definitely not saying all of these things are bad, but computers really jumped onto us and changed us. And now computers are different. Very rarely do we have hard disk drives anymore. They're all HD or SSDs. And everything's different. Everything is different. And it's because of technology. And technology was supposed to bring us together, and it kind of brought us together, and we didn't like what we seen. We didn't like who we were. We didn't like what we seen. It's like we got more attributed to groups of people more like ourselves and siloed in and siloed away from other people. There was a time you could have one point of view and walk away and or get together, talk about it and walk away, and then laugh at one another with family when the other wasn't there. And now it's as if you have one point of view or the other, you're a monster and you shouldn't be talked to, and all of this, that, and the other. Oh, jeez. When I was a kid, if you had ADHD, it was something you couldn't do your work. You couldn't do. You're damn near disabled. And these days, everybody has ADHD. Now, don't get me wrong. Women, there were definitely a lot of women that had ADHD, and it wasn't diagnosed, and it affected them differently than it affected boys. Because instead of acting out, they would just kind of sit there and watch things go up and down the wall, or look out the window. I'm really not good at explaining this, but most people already understand this because they're addicted to TikTok and everything. But in and of itself, if you're addicted to TikTok, then it's really easy to get addicted or to have anxiety or to have these other things. We like to talk about this, but we don't like to talk about the responsibility of where and why we might have picked it up. Like I'm telling you, if you're on TikTok 24/7, you have ADHD because of the way that it just hits you in particular ways that television didn't. And television, even if you have cable TV these days and you're watching the news is like news entertainment. They don't just give you the information, they tell you how to feel about it. CNN and Fox News are just two different extremes that put Hollywood into the whole thing, which is heartbreaking. If you're 40 years old, then you'll remember when news was just boring and they just fed you the information and they let you figure it out. But when I was going through media classes, one thing that they taught us was that you were supposed, in a documentary, you're supposed to drive people to action. You're supposed to make them want to get up and do something. And that's the thing. We have more of that. We don't just want to be entertained. We want to be thrilled. We want to be enraged. We want to have hard feelings. And that's just exhausting. It's exhausting. I miss the old days before the algorithms. I miss the old days when there were forums instead of social media. I held out so long before getting Facebook. And then I got Facebook, and shortly after that, it was Instagram, and it was all of these other things. And within this, I feel like we've lost something. It used to be that you got onto the internet to get away from reality. And these days, it's like we go to reality to get away from the internet. We go to restaurants to get away from our cell phones. We go camping to get away from our computers and stuff. These days, we don't even have computers we get onto. We all have the computer every bit we need in our mother box, in our cell phone. And with that, we've all changed, and life all around us has changed. I remember for Thanksgiving, the family used to come here, and my aunt had this really simple thing that everyone loved. We would get chestnuts from a block over. There was a chestnut tree. And she would drill holes through the chestnuts and put a string through, tie it, and they go up in the air. And we loved it so much, just taking these chestnuts and throwing them into the air. Man, 20 years ago, just before I moved out, that nobody was collecting chestnuts anymore. It was probably 30 years ago, no, 35 years ago that happened, that everyone was playing these things, lining up so my aunt could play with this thing, but then computers and video games and stuff came out and nobody collected the chestnuts anymore. So they tore the chestnut tree down because they didn't want to be picking up these chestnuts every year, raking them up. And there were no more children anymore to play with these chestnuts. And it's just really interesting how much things have changed because technology has changed. And I really feel like in the last 50 years, technology has changed society more than society has changed in the last 1,000 years. I don't like how the internet has changed us. Not to this point. I want to go back. I want to go back 20 years to where it was 20 years ago. The way that it should be. The way it will never be again. I hope we'll get through this. I hope that this Thanksgiving you have people that you can be thankful for and celebrate and gather around with. And if not, I love you. And you should love yourself. And it can be rough. It can be really rough. But love yourself. I wish I had more to say on that. But you're appreciated. You're appreciated. And we'll get through this. That's me. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, I better take off. Have a good one. Take care of each other.